Hey, what's up, everyone? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is that you're listening. It's morning for me. So, good morning. Thank you for listening. I want to get a little philosophical today. I hope that's okay. A little fluffy, just a little. I have 5 kids, and our 2 youngest girls, they're 9 and 12 right now. So they're at a really fun age, and they have really good personalities. They're very playful, and they love life. They love doing as much as they can, and they're still young and innocent. They're at that really fun stage. But bedtime, I'll tell you what, bedtime is a disaster. And it's like, because they don't get grumpy or mean or ornery or pull tantrums and none of that. It's just they keep coming out. It's like they don't want to go to bed. And I think part of it is because they love life so much. They just, one more thing. So they need a drink of water. They need to give me a hug, or give their mom a hug. Forgot to say I love you, or they forgot to do this or that. It's like they make stuff up sometimes because they just don't quite want to go to bed. So it's very innocent, but it's comical. If you were a bystander in our home and watched us at night putting our girls to bed, it's like they have to come out 5 or 6 times before they finally stay in bed. And my wife and I are always, just, we're done. That's it. There's nothing else that you need. Everything else can wait till tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal, right? So very much relatable when I heard on the radio a gentleman talking about, he just mentioned that in passing, when your kids are everywhere and you're trying to get them to bed at night and blah, 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 blah. And he was making a point, which I'll get to in a second, but it hit home for me because, we go through that like almost every night, like clockwork with the kids, well, the 2 youngest anyways. Some nights I have more patience, and it's just kind of funny, I can laugh at it and go, that's good, the girls one more time, make a game out of it or a joke out of it or whatever. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Here I am. Okay. So some nights I'm a lot more, what's the word? I can deal with it a lot more than other nights. Other nights I get a little impatient or whatever. And the point that the guy on the radio made was that years from now, these are all memories. They're going to be memories. And I'm going to remember. And already some of them are. I mean, they've been, they're 9 and 12. So they've been little for a long time, and they've been doing things like this for a long time. And I remember back years ago when they did stuff like this, and how it doesn't bother me. I'm not irritated by it. I'm not impatient by it. I think back, and I think back with a fondness of, that's just kind of how families are sometimes. That's how little kids are. And we have to be okay with stuff like that. Because one day they're going to be memories. And they'll be fond memories. These aren't the types of memories that, are making me a miserable person. I remember the mistakes, the innocent mistakes that my children make that are so agitating at the time, years from now, remembering back, because they're innocent mistakes. I don't remember them with any kind of animosity or any kind of malice or anything like that. I think of them as part of the journey of our family and what makes us us. And so there's a fondness there. So I want you to remember this in the moments when you're frustrated. Maybe you have kids. I guess I'm talking to the parents. If you have kids and you're frustrated with them at times. I'm not talking about the times where they're rebelling, and those aren't going to be fun memories. That's a different issue. But a lot of things that kids do are innocent mistakes. They mean well. Their hearts are in the right place. In fact, I would say most times they're not as being sour apples. Or sour grapes, bad apple, whatever the reference is. They're not being intentionally rebellious. A lot of times with kids, they mean well. They just don't know yet. They haven't learned yet. They're innocent, and their hearts are in the right place. They're just trying, and they're trying to figure out who they are. It's a crazy world. You got to admit, just to bring a kid into this world, I mean, even from 20 years ago, things have changed so much. When I was a kid, and that wasn't 20 years ago, but a long time ago, when I was a kid, man, life was simple. And I remember my parents thinking that way. Gosh, life is complex, thinking about my life when I was a kid compared to when they were kids, which was like, 50 or 60 years ago. So life changes so fast. And I look at kids now with technology and the internet and everything that's happening. They're really dropped into a unique lifestyle that we haven't really experienced in the history of the world. I mean, my kids are up to date on the news as it happens, and they're in school all day. They have devices. My son has a phone. My next son doesn't have a phone, but he just recently got a tablet device with, we put in restrictions and stuff. We're very careful parents, but nonetheless, their kids or their friends, they all have phones, they all have devices, they have this and that. They're exposed to everything. They know ideas that are out there. They know political things. They know major trends and movements and a lot of things that are going on. They're very, very savvy. They're dropped right into the middle of it. And you can't help but not be exposed to everything. Even if you don't even have a device, you try and wall yourself off. Just being around other people, you'll naturally get exposed to it. So our kids, they don't have it so easy. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that they are learning things that I never started learning until I was an adult. I mean, when I was a kid, it was just skateboards and hide and seek, and we did these little pixie things in the tree houses, and we built things, and we played in the neighborhood until dark and got dirty and skinned our knees. We had fun. And today's kids have fun in a different way. We try and encourage our kids to be creative and do things and drop their technology, and it's a struggle because I don't want them addicted to technology. But like it or not, it's there. You cannot get rid of it. If you even take away all devices and shut down Wi-Fi and all that, just sending them to school, they're around it because all their friends have it. And they look over the shoulder and their friends pull up videos and they see this and that. You cannot eliminate it. Not that you'd want to try. You want to teach them how to monitor it and be responsible with it. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm going off of technology now. But I guess bringing it back to my point, kids are growing up 10 times faster than they were when I was younger and you were younger. And as a result, they're faced with a lot of challenges and dilemmas that we didn't have to deal with when we were kids. So when you're raising a family and you're working through things, consider that as one thing. Technology is something we're all trying to figure out still. How to work with it, how to monitor it, how to find boundaries, and how to keep from being addicted and things like that. That's all relatively new in the history of the world. It's brand new. So remember this. What's more important? Years from now, you're going to look back and these moments that you're in right now, when you get frustrated with your kids and you're mad at them for this and they're doing that, and you're like, gosh, why can't you just get this through your head? And we've all experienced those frustrations. If you have kids, you've experienced that, I'm sure. Kids will try and test you to your limits. But that's, they help you learn and grow. It's all part of the cycle of life. So if you've got kids and you're frustrated with them, what I'm saying, I guess, is, take it with a grain of salt. Understand what they're going through. And that doesn't mean give them everything and coddle them and give them breaks and don't hold them responsible and things like that. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying let the punishment fit the crime, but understand, secondly, the biggest thing is his or her heart in the right place? And oftentimes, most times, it's yes. Kids mean well. Their hearts are in the right place. If you've taught them well, fundamentally, the principles, they mean well. They do. And they'll make mistakes. But if their heart's in the right place, I want you to consider looking at their mistakes in a different way than if their heart's not in the right place. So if they mean well and they're innocent mistakes, like my two girls going to bed, when they go to bed, they just giggle. They're full of giggles, and they sit and talk and laugh to each other. And sometimes they talk for an hour. And my wife and I are just down the hall. We can hear them. We're like, girls, you need to stop talking and go to bed. But they're creating their memories. And these are memories that we're going to have. Years from now, I'm going to think back and go, man, the girls didn't go to bed on time. I'm not going to feel anger or meanness or like, oh, that was like the most frustrating part of my life. I can't believe the girls wouldn't go to bed on time. I'm going to think back and laugh. I'm going to be like, oh, remember when, talking to my wife, remember when the girls wouldn't go to bed on time? Oh my gosh, it drove us nuts, and we'll laugh about it. And it will be like a positive feeling associated with it. So if we know that's going to be the case because our kids' hearts are in the right place and they're just making innocent mistakes, if we know that, let's bring that into the present and be a little more patient, because down the hall, you hear the kids giggling, whatever. Know that, 5 years from now, we're going to look back and laugh at that. So let's laugh at it today. That doesn't mean don't discipline. Doesn't mean we still have to have rules. You still have to hold your kids accountable, all that stuff. But we can be a little bit nicer while we do it. And we can laugh a little more, and we can smile a little more. And I'm as guilty as they come. Sometimes it's so easy to lose track of all that. But these kids are just trying to make their way in the world, a very challenging world. And as long as their hearts are in the right place, it's okay. If they make mistakes, we can lovingly teach them and not have to be so all the time, right? Anyways, that's more for me, I guess, than you, because I go through this like on a regular basis with our kids. But kids are great. They make life worth living, and they bring a lot of meaning to life. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have kids and you go through frustrations and things that seem like a big deal at the time, things that you're like, oh my gosh, if my daughter comes out of her bedroom one more time, I'm gonna, blow up or whatever. Those times, what do you do to minimize those and kind of bring it into perspective and go, you know what? It's really not that big of a deal. It really doesn't matter that much. I mean, yeah, we want to keep trying to enforce it. What do you do to maintain the perspective, to bring the future feeling of laughter and fondness and memories that you're going to be feeling 5 years from now as you think it back? What do you do to bring those feelings back into the present so you don't overreact every time your kids do something wrong? All right, there's something to think about, to chew on. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below, share, like, comment, do what you got to do. And I'll look forward to hearing from some of your insights and your wisdom, and hopefully together we can figure it out. Have a great day.